You have a flyer like this at your table. This has if you scan the QR code with your phone, it will take you to the presentation for tonight, a frequently asked questions page. And there's even a spot where you can ask a question if you don't want to ask it out loud. If you don't have a phone and you have a question, there are little half sheets on the tables that you can write the question down and leave it for us. I will be emailing the answers out to those and also including them, adding them to our frequently asked questions page. So to get started tonight, we're going to have Dr. Bryan Merrill introduce our principals.
Christina, welcome. We're so thankful that you came out tonight. Thank you so much for your interest in the Aspire Academy. It's an exciting time transitioning from elementary to intermediate. I remember when we made that transition. I've got a few kids in the district, 2 girls that have both gone through the intermediate schools, one at Jane Long and one at Rayburn. So I can tell you firsthand, you're going to love this experience. It's a wonderful campus. Whichever one you get, we've got a new one that we're very excited to open up. And so it's my honor to get to introduce these incredible principals. You couldn't go wrong either one. I've trusted my girls with both of them, and they're just amazing. So once again, it's just a joy to be able to introduce them. I'd like to introduce Dr. Desiree Caperton. She's over here to the right. She's over at Jane Long. We've got Lobos. Yeah. She has no energy whatsoever. Neither does Miss Ryber. This is her campus. Becky Ryber is over here. She's phenomenal as well. I don't believe that Mr. Scott's here. He's unbelievable as well. We don't have to give him a round of applause, but if you get over to Sadbury, you're going to love it. It's opening at the end of this school year. So all 3 campuses are amazing campuses. Again, I could not say enough positive information about them, and about the individuals leading it. I'm excited as well to introduce our junior high principals. I've got Ms. Keisha Schlag over here, wave. She's over at SFA, so she's phenomenal. And then Ms. Rada's not here, but we thought we'd go ahead and transition them. So Rada, if you get over to Davila, and I have an 8th grader over there as well. So both girls have gone to the intermediates, and both girls went to the middle school. So I've got first-hand experience with all of them. So we're incredibly excited tonight. Thank you for coming out. I want to compliment Dr. Richardson on the hard work that's gone into the Aspire Academy and all of the team members and all of the individuals working on it. They put in hours to take the best of everything, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but I just want to compliment you on the involvement of the community, the staff, everyone involved to make this possible. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful program. I can't wait. You're the inaugural class. It's really rare that you get to go through something as the first class, and so that's incredibly exciting. Students, you're going to get to be the first ones that you can hang your hat on. So thank you so much for helping us to build this. Thank you for tonight, and again, thank you for coming out.
Okay, before I start talking about Aspire, I want to quickly talk about the pathways for advanced academics in intermediate, because you actually have a choice, and not many families understand that. So I want you to be able to think about your child and have those conversations and pick what is the best pathway for your child. The first pathway is advanced courses. You don't have to fill out an application. Any student who wants to try these courses is allowed to. You don't have to take all advanced. In Aspire Academy, you'll take all 4 as advanced. In just taking the advanced courses, you can choose, I just want to take English and history, or I just want to take science and math. Again, that's about what's best for your student and what are they interested in. None of my boys went through Odyssey or Inquirer. I had 3 boys, and it just wasn't the right fit for them. They did advanced courses all the way up, graduated from Bryan Collegiate with a whole bunch of college credit. So it is a choice. They are both equal in rigor, and the big difference with Aspire is that it will have an application process we're going to talk about here in a minute. So the best people to tell you about all of the programs, all the ins and outs, are the people who are going to lead and teach. And so, there she is. Miss Whitney Powers is one of our amazing, and she was actually a Teacher of the Year, advanced course teachers, and she's here at Rayburn, and she's going to talk a little bit about the curriculum in advanced courses. You got it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
So, hi, Whitney Powers. So, The advanced courses. We teach our rigor. Okay. We have the same level of rigor. If you choose advanced academics, just know that your child is going to be pushed. We have the same level of rigor, same expectations, a compacted curriculum. It is a more faster pace. They're going to be challenged, but it's going to be meaningful, and we have a lot of parents that they really enjoyed the signing their kid up for advanced academics. And we do a lot of project-based learning, just like Odyssey. Like they said, there's no application, and if you sign it, thank you.
Thank you very much. On the enrichment side, this is a question we get. If my student is not in the Aspire Academy, will they still get enrichment? Yes, they'll still have those opportunities for enrichment. They will have the same opportunities to participate in UIL academics or the robotics club. When they get onto middle school, they'll have the same opportunity to get into high school credit classes. And the biggest thing I really want parents to understand is that it does not matter if your student is in an Aspire Academy or advanced courses. It has no bearing on what they choose in high school. So they can still choose anything, IB, AP Capstone, Bryan Collegiate. They can choose any advanced program regardless of what they take in intermediate and in middle school. So one of the questions that we get is, why are we changing? What was wrong with Odyssey? What was wrong with Inquire? And the answer is absolutely nothing. Odyssey did a fabulous job focusing on STEM. Inquire had the focus of humanities. When we began planning the opening of Sadbury, we had to decide, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to put Odyssey over there, or are we going to put Inquire? So we started reaching out for feedback from our families, from teachers, and what we found is the number one thing that people kept saying over and over is, my fourth grader doesn't know what STEM is. My fourth grader doesn't know what humanities are. So how can they make a choice of that? And so what they wanted to see is all of it together. And so that's what Aspire does, is it brings the best of both Inquire and Odyssey together. So students are going to get a very full, well-rounded experience. So the mission, Aspire Academy exists to meet the needs of gifted and high-achieving students by providing a rigorous interdisciplinary curriculum that develops students into ethical, innovative, responsible, civic-minded leaders who contribute positively to their local and global communities. And we are going to meet this mission not only through their core classes, but also through the enrichment that you're going to hear about in a minute. And Dusty Whitfield, a teacher here at Rayburn, is going to tell you about admission and application.
Again, my name is Dusty Whitfield. I've been an educator now for 20 years. 10 of those years have been in the Odyssey program, first at SFA and now at Sam Rayburn. So we're going to go ahead and discuss right now the application process and also the matrix that we use. The application is currently online and open on December the 12th, and it is going to close on February the 20th. As far as available computers, if you would like to fill out your application and use one of our computers, the computers are available at the front of all elementary school campuses if you would like to utilize that resource. The application response letters will be sent out sometimes near the end of February or the beginning of March. Okay. Which campus will your student attend? Well, your student will attend whatever campus that they're zoned for if they're accepted into the Aspire Academy, with the exception of dual language. If your student is in dual language, they will be attending Jane Long Intermediate School. On the right-hand side, as far as the matrix, we will be using a couple of different data points to determine acceptance into the program. We're going to be using fall semester grades, MAP test scores, and also COGAT scores. Okay. The phase-in process. The phase-in process will be 1 year at a time. We're going to be starting with 5th grade. So next year for 2023, 2024, we're going to be starting with 5th grade. And then the next year we're going to be adding on an additional grade level each year. So 5th grade first, following year it's going to be 5th and 6th, and then 5, 6, and 7, and then eventually 5, 6, 7, and 8. If your student is currently enrolled in one of the academies, Inquire or Odyssey, they will just continue through that current academy.
Good evening. My name is Donna Willett, and I'm the director for the school counselors in the district. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what your child's day is going to look like. What will their courses be? If the student is in Aspire, all of their classes will be considered academy classes. Their core classes, English, math, science, and social studies will all be at Aspire. In 5th grade, they will have similar to what they have now. They will have art and they will have music in some sort of rotation. When they move into 6th grade, they continue with fine arts, but that is where they get to make those choices. Do they continue with art, theater, band, choir, orchestra? That they will go through and learn a lot about those when they're in the 5th grade, and then they'll make the choice of what they want to move forward with. They will have PE. In 5th grade, you have PE or you have Kickstart, which Kickstart has a little application process to it also. And then in 6th grade, we add in that opportunity for pre-athletics. Those students that are planning to be a part of the athletics program when they move into middle school. And finally, they will have some sort of intervention or acceleration, some sort of enrichment that is built in as part of their day. About the curriculum, as Dr. Richardson said, it is an advanced curriculum, and I need to make you aware that we also are compacting that curriculum. When they get into 6th grade, in the area of math and in science, we will start pulling in some of those required elements, the TEKs, from 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade curriculum. And the reason being that is when we move through and start looking and phase you from intermediate to what middle school looks like, that'll give us that opportunity to build in some high school level courses when they get into the 8th grade. And finally, because students are clustered together in Aspire classes and all of those core, we will be doing some cross-curricular activities, things that tie your math and your social studies or your math and your science together. So they'll have the opportunity to work on things that they might hear about in one core class as well as another. Ms. Becky.
So I'm Becky Reiberg. I'm the principal here at Sam Rayburn. This is my 4th year here. I'm super excited to be helping to launch this new program. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what your kids are going to be exposed to if you choose Aspire. So one of the things that we do in current Odyssey, like they said, is we focus on STEM. So there's a lot of focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But because Inquire is the focus of humanities, our kids never get that exposure, and vice versa. They do get it. I shouldn't say that they never get it, but they get it because they have really amazing teachers who intentionally put those elements into the lessons. So with Aspire, what we're going to do is we're going to take each 6 weeks, and each 6 weeks is going to be used as an introductory time frame to teach kids the 6 biggest pathways that they're going to need to be successful in secondary school and in post-secondary school. So whether they decide upon high school graduation to go into a trade school, to go straight into the workforce, to go into a 2-year or 4-year university, they're going to have a pathway that they have been exposed to ever since 5th grade. So the pathways actually make me very excited, and I told James the other day when we did this at Long that I think we have the best slides, because we get to talk about what kids are actually going to be learning. So like I said, 6 weeks, and we're going to break them into these 6 things here. So they're going to have a biomedical 6 weeks, a computer science and engineering, a graphic design, a fine arts, and a global studies. And then what they're going to do during this enrichment time is a lot of what they do already in Odyssey and Inquire and Advanced. They work on a lot of research. So we give them all of the tools that they're going to need to solve a problem. Usually we start with a question that's really hard to answer. And then the kids have to use all of the skills that they've been getting in their curriculum to figure out the answers. So we can go to the next. There it is, sorry. Okay. So you might be asking, okay, you're a 5th grade, 6th grade teacher. When did you get your degree in biomedical science? So you should know that the teachers are all going to receive some pretty intensive specialized training that we're also excited about so that they can deliver, like I said, these introductory lessons and courses to kids. So say first 6 weeks is biomedical enrichment, your students would be introduced to anything that could be in the field of medicine, physiology, genetics, microbiology, or public health. And so if your kid wants to grow up to be a doctor, they're going to have the general overview of what that could entail as they grow older. Then when they get into middle school and high school, they can actually choose the specialized courses that they're most interested in. So before they have to go into it blindly and just say, oh, I've wanted to be a doctor since kindergarten, well now they're going to be also exposed to computer science enrichment, engineering, and James will talk about the other 3, so that they can make an informed decision, not just about what they have always thought they liked, but what they've actually been learning about and using in actual school. Okay?
So the 3 that you just saw, those are more of the STEM-based. These 3 are the humanities. We're looking at fine arts enrichment. So all of the students get a fine arts course, but there's not a lot of enrichment involved. So we're going to look deeper into the influence of arts, artistic knowledge, historical context, things like that. Also global studies and graphic design, down to digital design, branding, publishing, product design. And those things will be done through project-based learning. And like Becky said, we're really trying to give the students the tools that they need to make that decision when they get to high school. Because just like your 4th grader couldn't decide whether they were more interested in STEM or humanities, these are big choices that they're going to have to make. And when they get to high school, it might be hard for them to change their mind because scheduling becomes a problem. So as you get more knowledge and more background, they can make an informed decision about what they like and maybe eliminate some of those choices that they find out, well, maybe I didn't really want to be into publishing, or maybe I'm not really that into coding. I thought Hour of Code was cool, but not anything deeper than that. So we're going to give them some background, let them get a deeper knowledge, and really make that informed decision so that when they get to high school, they make a choice that they're happy with, and they can continue that path through high school and then beyond.
Good evening, I'm Mr. Kuna. I teach robotics at SFA in Odyssey. I've been with the program since the beginning, so I'm old. I recognize several in the audience. Good to see all again. How many 4th graders do we have in the house? Raise your hand. Come on. Okay, all right, so here's the quiz. How many different how many different enrichment courses are there? 6, thank you. All right, so you can rotate through those. So, yes, we're going to get to that. So, when you get to my level, the middle school, so this is what it's going to look like. You've got Aspire ELA, Aspire Math, Aspire Science, Aspire Social Studies. You'll also have PE electives, additional electives. So, all those questions about will they have the same choices, like will they be able to take band and orchestra, and there's even mariachi and all that. Yes, yes, yes. You will have all those choices as well. Now, the 4 core courses, that's teacher speak, that means math, science, language arts, and social studies. Those are Aspire courses, so those will be teachers that are teaching that at a different level. So, by the way, if this print is too small, this is a reminder, take those sheets with the blue stripes on it, take those home, all those QR codes. One of those QR codes, I believe is the 5th one, is this presentation, so you can pull it out and zoom in and look at it and read it more carefully. But anyway, then when you get those elective strands, those are the 6 elective strands, as you can see. The curriculum, especially math and science, because when I get to the middle school part, because in middle school you're going to be taking algebra and physics to make room for that, we've compacted, so 3 years worth of math in 2 years, 3 years worth of science in 2 years, so that's kind of how that works out, okay? Hope I'm pushing the right button here. Oh, is that, yes? Okay, cool. All right, so this is kind of like the whole map, from intermediate through high school, okay? And like I said, if the print's too small, you can scan that. So intermediate, we've already talked about it, so these are 3 of the courses, here are the other 3. Then when you get to middle school, you see how, well, I really like the graphic design enrichment that I did in 5th and 6th grade. Okay, great. Well, what's available to you in 7th and 8th? Right now, it's Principles of Arts, AV Technology, Digital Media, and that would, and if you really like that, then when you get to the high school, you can see what courses are available there. Can you take courses just in one track? Sure. Can you take courses in more than one track? Yes, as long as your schedule allows, okay? You still have to take the math, science, social studies, and so on, but when you get to middle school, you'll have, how many do we have, 4 electives? Yeah, you'll have 4 electives. And so if you want to, you can take, say, digital media, but you can also take Spanish or student leadership. It doesn't have to be all in the same track. They can, you know, like I said, as your schedule allows. Now, you also have to understand that your kids would be going into 5th grade this year. They're not going to hit middle school for a couple of years, and so TEA may change a few things, but this is the general idea that for each strand, we have courses at the middle school that they would feed into, and then at the high school. And so, yeah.
Okay, hi, I'm Desiree Caperton again, the principal of Jane Long. Go Lobos. And so dual language is going to continue to stay at Jane Long. And right now it's dual and Inquire, so it will be dual and Aspire. So students will be getting English, language arts, math, and social studies in both languages, alternating every week in that language, and then social studies will be continued to be taught in only in Spanish.
Where are our dual language students and our dual language parents out there? Any here tonight? Okay, awesome. Upon completion of dual language program in 6th grade, students are eligible to take an assessment. It's called the Avant assessment. And basically they can get credit towards high school at the end of 6th grade. And upon completion of that in 6th and 7th grade, they can go on to get additional high school credit for LOTE languages other than English in Spanish as well.
Your instruments.
Okay, so we wanted to take a minute to talk about where you're going to go next year, because I know that's on everybody's mind. If you did the school zone survey and you've been watching along, seeing where will my child end up? Well, the good news is you will know soon. It's actually next week, January 17th. The board will look at the presented boundaries and they will put them to a vote. So look for that next week. Until then, what we wanted to do was let you hear a little bit about each campus and hear the experience of those campuses, because no matter where your student goes, it is going to be excellent.
All right, so I'm really excited. I have a couple of parents, grandmother here to talk about their child and grandchild's experience at Long. And so my first one is Dara Wald. Her wonderful daughter Zohar is in 5th grade and she's an Inquire. Thank you, Caperton.
Hi, good evening. As Dr. Caperton said, my daughter Zohar is a 5th grader at Jane Long. And when we first had to make this choice about which program to go to, we were thinking a lot about Zohar's interests and what she would want. We watched all the parent night out events, information, and ultimately we decided to go to Long. And when we did that, I was sort of like, I don't know what this is going to be like, right? But we have had an amazing experience. Zoe loves the flexibility that the curriculum provides her. She adores her teacher. Every time we've had a question or a concern, I've reached out, they've immediately responded. It just regularly feels like we have a team of people who are on our child's side. And that's incredibly comforting to me, right, to know as a parent that I have people who are supporting her. The other thing that I was a little bit worried about when we made this choice was what's going to happen with STEM, right? Is my daughter never going to see anything about science, technology, or math? And actually the opposite has been true. I've been so impressed with the science and math program. Even in a program that is emphasizing humanities, they still bring in the science and the math as much as they possibly can, and I really appreciate that, because I was worried about this idea that she'd be giving something up, right? So all in all, it's been an amazing experience, and I'm super excited to be here to represent and to tell all of you that Long is a great place for your child to be, whether they're in the Inquire program or Aspire or any other one. Thank you.
And my next representative is Ms. Emma Woodard, and her granddaughter Mia is in 6th grade in the dual language program.
Hi, my name is Emma, and I do have a granddaughter that went through the whole kindergarten all in the dual language. I just want to tell you that the program is great. The program at Jane Long, actually any program, you're going to be very pleased with it because they have such amazing teachers. They want your students to succeed at every level they do. So Mia has enjoyed her teachers. She loves her teachers because she can talk to her teachers and they will assist her with whatever it is that she has or that she might need. I also have a granddaughter that was in the Odyssey program, and some of the benefits that are in these programs is that when they get through with their program, they might actually get some credit for the high school classes and all. And my granddaughter's in the 9th and the 10th grade, and when she went in from the 8th to the 9th grade, she had already had high school credits going in being in the Odyssey. But Mia, I think the dual language will also have that. But my experience with the school, with the benefit BISD, is the amazing teachers. You will love the teachers. You will just, if you go and talk to your teachers, if you're having an issue, whatever, they are so open to talk to you. They're available anytime. They're very knowledgeable in what they do. They're great teachers. Jane Long is an awesome school, and our principal is just awesome. The counselors are great also. All you have to do is go talk to them, and they'll be great. That's my experience with that. Parents, do get involved and talk to the teachers, and your kids will be successful because the teachers and all the staff want your students to be very successful. So I've been very happy in all the programs that my granddaughters have been in, and I think y'all will too. Any program that y'all get into is going to be the good, probably the best for what you decide for your children. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple of parents here too. I haven't seen Leah. There you are right here. Okay, come on up. She has actually 2 children at Rayburn. She has Jace and Garrett, and one in 5th grade Odyssey and one in 6th grade Odyssey. So she's going to tell you a little bit about her experiences here at Sam Ray.
Yes, I'm Leah, and I have a 5th and a 6th grader. We're just knocking it all out at one time, just getting them all through there. I can say, I want to echo the teacher thing. That's probably the biggest thing, is it truly does feel like teamwork, which I think everybody can agree that really all through school, working with your kids' teachers to ensure that they're successful is what helps them get through the hard days and the tough ones. So the teachers are fantastic. The communication is amazing. Anytime I reached out to the teachers, they've immediately responded. Counselors, principal, whatever it is that you need. Everybody on campus truly is there to see your child succeed as much as you want them to succeed. Another point I wanted to touch on is, yes, it moves very quickly. So both our kids are in Odyssey. It's very fast-paced. I have one child that is great at school and it comes easy to him. I have another one that struggles a little bit. And both of them have received the support that they need to be successful. Even my one that struggles a little bit more. And his teachers have been fantastic. So yeah, I think that's it. But I'm happy to answer any questions. I can't really speak to Aspire yet, but Odyssey has been amazing. And I'm so glad that that's the path we chose for them.
Okay, our next parent is Crisel Gomez, and she has a 5th grader here, Miss Layla. Do you want to come up to Miss Layla? She was Mrs. Power's support there in our advanced program, and they're going to speak about this one for us.
Hi, I'm Chriselle, Linda's mom, and whenever I chose Rayburn, because she's, Rayburn, Raiders, and what is it, Raiders? Yeah. And so basically when Layla started elementary, she was in dual. But then I decided to move her up to honors. And so other parents suggested honors. And to me, I just think it was a challenge, but she did not know that I signed her up for honors. I did it because I wanted to push my baby to, challenge her to do more. I wanted her to learn a lot more than just a regular class, and I'm not talking bad about it, but honestly, I just felt like she could advance to do better. And so I did not ask Layla, I just signed her up for it, and that's the kind of parent that I am. Softball, she starts in spring. I never ask Layla. So honestly, I'm a challenging mom. I'm always 100 behind her. I'm pushing her, and I expect Layla to pass, and she knows that. But if anytime she is struggling, her teachers in honors classes are always behind her. I can email them, they're there. They're always completely paying attention to their kids, Honestly, honors is good for us. So y'all choose. I mean, of course it's a different, Aspire, but honestly, it's been great for us here at Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next is, we have one more, Maya Ramirez, she wanted to talk from. She's in advanced, and she's had kids in Odyssey and in advanced, and so that's why we think she'd be a great person to ask questions of as well.
Hi, so I don't do well with this, so I'm just gonna look down. Anyway, my name is Maya Ramirez. I've had 4 children that has gone through Bryan ISD. My oldest has gone through the advanced classes through high school, and it's been amazing. So I have my middle high schooler. He's in it now. Didn't have a choice. Actually, none of my kids didn't have a choice. I signed him up. This is what you're doing. I don't care what you say. That's where I'm struggling with my high schooler, because he's his friends didn't follow through with it, but I did, because again, they didn't have a choice. I know what they're capable of doing, and so I push them to strive to be successful. But anyways, as for the advanced academic classes, the students there, they are pushed to do better. I had the best experience with the teachers here for 5th and 6th grade. I love Miss Powers. 2 of my children have had her, and she's honestly the best. They are challenged. They get high school credit. Yeah, we talked about that. And they have high expectations. I kind of just wrote something about my kids are smart enough for Odyssey. However, we chose the advanced academics because of the teachers. But I also know that they would be getting high quality, challenging work. That's what they are currently doing now, and they love it. I will tell you that my daughter, she struggles with math. I could teach her math, but it's going to be math that I was taught 20 years ago, and that's not the way they're taught. And so I could teach her, and she's like, I have no idea what language you're talking. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you're taught. But anyway, Miss Powers has taught her to where she loves math. She hated math going into 5th grade, and she loves it. So anyway, the teachers are amazing. And either way, if you go with the Odyssey or the advanced academic, you will be happy either way. But don't feel that because you don't get accepted into the Aspire academic, the other program, that this should be your second choice. I think both are equally the same, and you'll be happy either way. Thanks, guys.
We felt it was really important that you hear from parents that are experiencing or have experienced going through Inquire, Odyssey, and the advanced program. With Salisbury being new, we don't have any parents from that campus to talk to you today. And Mr. Scott could not be here, but when he spoke Tuesday night, he stood up in front of everybody and said, "Look at me. I'm a product of Bryan ISD. I went through, some advanced classes, and I'm here, and I'm totally excited about being the principal at Sadberry. And so, as those boundaries come out and you figure out what campus your child will be at, and if they end up being at Sadberry, just know the Aspire program that is here, that is at Jane Long, and that is at Sadberry is all the same, and those students will be getting that same level of rigor and those same opportunities. I need to talk about registration now, because that's kind of the next step. Once you hear about what those opportunities are, where do we go from there? As they mentioned earlier, the applications for Aspire are open, and they'll be open till February the 20th. But we also will have additional information nights, just in general. What about Long? What about Rayburn? What about Sadberry? Those meetings will be held on February the 16th. Was scheduled originally earlier, we pushed it back because we wanted to make sure all of those boundaries were set and you knew exactly where you were supposed to be. All of the meetings will start at 6. Sadberry's will take a little longer because there will be a meet the principal time. There'll be information about what is Sadberry, what is their mascot going to be. So the time of their meeting will last a little bit longer, but they're all scheduled for the 16th. And the Sadberry meeting will be at Bonham Elementary. Obviously, we can't have you going into Sadberry yet because it hasn't been released to us. They're still working on it, right? But we'll be right there next to it. As for your students, in a couple weeks, the intermediate counselors will come into every elementary school and talk to your students. At that time, they will be given a hard copy of a course guidebook, and it's just got a little information about how things run in intermediate school, and a little more detail about the classes that are offered. They'll also get a registration page. And they will go through a presentation. It'll be similar to what happens with parents on the 16th, but it'll be put in a format that's a little more conducive of working with fourth graders rather than adults. And then after that, those sheets will be due back to your elementary counselor on the 24th of February. And that gives you plenty of time in between to ask your elementary counselors questions, to email or call and ask the intermediate counselors questions if there's any questions that you have. Currently, the course guidebook is already on the Bryan ISD website. Just when you go there, type in course guide, it'll bring it up. It's only in English right now. It is still at translation. As soon as I get it in Spanish, we'll load that there also.
And I just wanted to end back with the two different pathways. There's advanced courses and there's Aspire Academy. And you can see that they have more in common than they do differences. So students are going to get a rigorous experience whether they take advanced or if they're in Aspire. So just remember, you do have two choices. Okay, so you have a QR code that you can ask questions digitally. You can write a question on your half sheet, or we have a little bit of time if somebody wants to ask a question right now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we've kind of covered what to expect at school. What can you look like as far as homework? Whenever they come home, will there be more homework?
Probably more homework than what they're used to in elementary school. I would plan for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour of homework a night, depending on, are they in the middle of a big project? Are they studying for the test? Are they reading a novel? So it's going to kind of, there will be times when it's more and times when it's less. The support system is going to be the fabulous teachers. Whitney, do you want to speak any to homework?
I can only speak for myself. It makes me nervous. But we give, it is a district homework that they provide for us. It has some challenging questions, but there are QR codes on all of them that they can scan it, and they pull up anchor charts to help them. And again, like everybody, wonderful parents have said that the teachers are super helpful. I know I tell my students, my parents, homework should not bring tears. So if it's bringing tears, put a star on it and we'll go over it. And then we really try not to send home homework. Again, I can only speak advanced academics, but we try not to send homework that your child has not yet mastered, so they don't really need your help.
Yeah, I did, thank you. And then Desiree, back to tutorials, like before or after school they can get help? After school, and so.
We also do our very, very best because we know that parents have jobs and transportation can sometimes be an issue. We have an intervention period, and so kiddos who need interventions or tutoring are going to get it during the school day first and foremost. So sometimes teachers will do extra tutorials on their own, but that's always up to the teacher. If they are struggling, they will get it during the school day, no matter what.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So that is what our vision is right now, is that instead of, Odysseys at SFA, Inquires at Davila, is that we have the same program at both so that you can continue going to your attendance zone campus. That is our plan of this moment in time. Yes. Yes, absolutely. When you say higher grades, you mean like middle school? Yes, they, they have a lot of athletics. They have basketball and volleyball and football, and so advanced academics kids are participants in all the sports, as well as choir, and band, and all of those things. Anybody else? Yes.
What about children that have a certain 504 plan? So do they still qualify?
Absolutely. My sons, actually, all three of them have 504 plans. So they, teachers follow those plans just like any other teacher does, and they are very successful in advanced academics as well. Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible that the advanced courses and the courses for Aspire could be taught by the same teachers?
No, typically the Aspire teachers are going to have a full day of Aspire. They may have one section in advance. It kind of just depends on the numbers. Are there more advanced kids or are there more Aspire kids? But just for the sake of the teacher, they try and give them as much of all Aspire or all advanced as possible. Yes. If you don't want to continue, then you would attend your attendance zone campus. Okay? Yeah. So this is also the other great thing about Aspire, is that when we had Inquire and Odyssey, we did have a set number. We would only let in 150 students, and that was because of the restrictions of the program. We only had one pathway, 150 kids taking robotics by the time they got to middle school. But now, since we have 6 different pathways, there is not a cutoff seat number. And so what it will be is on that matrix, there will be a cutoff score. And so, everybody's going to have the same, all three. I'm going to make up a number. Let's just say it's 20. All 3 campuses, the cut score will be the same. It would be that 20. So Rayburn may have 100 kids in Aspire, and Jane Long has 125 kids who got that 20 in Aspire. So it's not going to matter on seats. It'll just matter if they reach that cut score. Yes?
When will we know if they made that cut?
So we originally thought we would have it done by the end of February, but we have extended the deadline to February 20th. And so it should be the beginning of March. I'm hoping to get it done before spring break, but I'm not going to promise. because it's a lot of student data to go through and process and get done. So my hope is the week before spring break. Yes, ma'am.
So the
COGAT. Yes.
So are all the kids that applied having that done, or the kids already done and we're taking out like years early?
Yeah.
That or taking a test again?
So great question. If they are already GT, they will be an auto admit to Aspire because they've already met those qualifications. If they have not taken the COGAT, then we will be administering them the COGAT this year. My GT specialists are out on campuses right now. Those of you who have already applied, some of your kids have already been tested, and we're going to get those done to be able to make the decision. The reason, this is our first year using the COGAT, and we are doing that to look at student performance in two different ways. So MAP is going to give us the achievement. What do they know? How well are they doing? COGAT gives us the aptitude or ability. What could they do? So could they do really well in math? Could they do really well in English? And so that's why we have the two different tests. It's going to give us kind of two different looks at your student. Yes, ma'am. It's okay. We are going to use the fall semester grade, so all of the 6 weeks averaged together in a semester grade. Yes? No, it's all separate. Yeah, so they'll get points for their really strong one, and maybe they had a weaker one, they don't get so many points for it. So, yeah, it's all separate. Yes? Great question, and I'm gonna ask my executive director of student leadership. They have a question about staffing Sadbury and what is that going to look like? Where will the teachers come from?
They will come from Jane Long and Sam Rayburn. We're reducing the number of staff members or the staff students in the campuses, and so we've already had conversations with staff members, and we do have a transfer list for those who want to go, and we have several teachers who have signed up. And so the campuses will have a lower number of students, and so some of the staff will be moving to Sadbury from Long and Rayburn. Did that answer your question?
Okay. Anybody else? Yes. So the classes are 22-ish on average, Desiree? 22 to 24 is kind of the average size of the classroom. Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, if your student is in dual language will continue at Jane Long.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. If any of you have any questions you didn't want to ask in the big group, if my presenters will all raise your hands so that they can see you. You ask any of my friends with their hands raised a question, and they should be able to help you or know who to ask to get the answer. Thank you guys very much. Please take your handout with you so you have access to all of the presentation tonight, as well as your save the date reminder.